Where could Mark and Helly possibly run off to after the Season 2 finale? Headed by the imposing woman named Lorne, Mammalians Nurturable is the department that raises baby goats. And while Mark and Helly initially ran into trouble with this department, Lorne promised not to hinder their search for Jema in Season 2, Episode 3, Who is Alive? So from where Season 2 ended, the green pastures of Mammalians Nurturable is the only place where Mark and Helly can possibly wrestle some control out of their dire situation. Indeed, this wasn't just another MDR any excursion that they pulled in Season 2, but the actual beginnings of a revolution within Lumon Industries. For starters, Mark and Helly worked together to rescue Jema, who was being developed to be the first perfectly severed employee. Jema was supposed to be irrefutable proof for Lumen's investors that Severance works 100% as promised, but all that was ruined after Mark not only freed Jema, but also invalidated the test results of Cold Harbor. And apart from Mark accidentally killing Security Chief Mr. Drummond, Mark and Helly also sowed discord not just in Mammalians Nurturable, but choreography and merriment as well. Combined with how Lorne and Mark worked together to take down Drummond, MDR and Mammalians Nurturable are at the forefront of what is a rising revolution inside the severed floor. In addition, the rolling grass hills of Mammalians Nurturable already evoke the essential setting of any guerrilla movement, and considering this department's loyalty to Lorne, the simulated countryside where they work makes for the perfect safe haven for Mark and Helly. With that being said, Mark may have an even more pressing matter to worry about than this looming revolution. Although Dr. Ragabi did her best to finish Mark's reintegration process, she left because Devin wanted to go to Harmony Cabell for help, and this all went down in Severance Season 2, Episode 7, Chikai Bardo. Thanks to Ragabi's work, Mark's innie and outie memories have stabilized since that episode. But as Ragabi didn't get to continue working on Mark, it's only a matter of time before his reintegration sickness surfaces once again. In fact, both innie and outie Mark just went through a myriad of traumatic and jarring experiences, which can only further break down the walls between memories inside his head. As Mark and Helly make love for the second time, innie Mark is assaulted by his outie's fond memories of his wife, his mind trapped in a double love triangle. Conversely, the combined memories of Mark's innie and outie will also give the innies the edge they need in their fight against Lumen. As the only living severed worker undergoing reintegration, Mark will become like a prophet to the innies on the severed floor, who will depend on Mark's fractured mind for information about the outside.
So what the hell did you guys see up there?
And this will prove to be the sharpest of double-edged knives in Severance Season 3. The worse Mark's condition gets, the more the innies will know about the company they're working for. Yet as this revolution threatens to undo Lumen's work, the company will be making its own moves to avoid imploding from the inside. As Jame revealed to Helly in Season 2, Episode 9, The After Hours, Jame no longer loves her own daughter, who has long been disconnected with the Eagan legacy. Instead of Helena, Jame sees the fire of Kier in her innie, Helly, and this will be the basis of their unlikely mentor-mentee relationship in the third season. Wherever Mark and Helly are holed up in Season 3, Jame finds a way to reach Helly, and in turn, Helly will be surprised at how much she actually connects with the Eagan's principles. This is how Season 3 will put the spotlight on Kier's cult of personality. Its draw so powerful that even a sworn enemy like Helly can be swayed by Lumen to its side.
I knew you could do it, Helly R.
With Helly under the spell of Jame, and Mark destined to be the doomed messiah of the severed floor, what hope is there for the internal revolution that would bring Lumen down? Well, let's not forget that Lumen's innies have powerful allies on the outside. After seeing Mark run off with a strange woman, a confused Jema somehow makes her way out of Lumen's offices, and there, out in the woods, Devin and Harmony finally secure Jema and take her away from the building. As a severed worker with at least 24 presumably intact innies, Jema's severance chip is unusually stable. So while Jema herself insists on undergoing reintegration like Mark, the barriers of her mind present a challenge even to Harmony Coble, the very creator of the severance procedure. And this pushes Harmony to pull off another miracle, not just contacting Ragabi, but also convincing the former Lumen surgeon to trust her. Eventually, Harmony and Ragabi find a way to safely begin Jema's reintegration, morbidly informed by the experiences of both mad scientists while working for and against Lumen Lumen in the past. And on that note, Severance Season 3 will be when all of Lumen's former employees finally team up against the company. After learning about a new commotion that went down in Lumen's severed floor, Irving will have no choice but to return to Keertown to put his knowledge of Lumen's basement to good use. Finally, Season 3 will slowly reveal the network of anti-Lumen spies for whom Irving has been gathering intel. In time, Irving finds Devin, Harmony, Ragabi, and Gemma, and they combine their plans to mount a rescue of Mark S, along with the other innies trapped in the severed floor. Initially, Bert stands in their way due to his loyalty to the company, yet due to his faith being misaligned with Lumen's objectives, Bert instead gives Irving the intel they need to rescue Mark and the innies. And while this revolution brews from both outside and within Lumon Industries, more of the company's atrocities will be brought to light in the third season, which leads to our next plot theory. Season 1 implied that the severance procedure is a one-time thing, but as fully unveiled in Season 2, severance is actually a lengthy process of ensuring that the chip works as intended. So Season 3 will then explore the wildest possibilities of severance being misused. As it turns out, Gemma isn't the only severed worker with multiple innies, and she wasn't even the first. Remember the innie from Season 1 whose sole purpose is to give birth at Lumen's Lodge? Apart from bringing Senator Angelo Arteta's scion into the world, another innie of hers works as a sleeper agent for Lumen and the US Senator's schemes. Meanwhile, Ms. Huang was last seen boarding a bus to the Gunnel Eagan Empathy Center in Svalbard. And on that cold Norwegian archipelago, Lumen is free to perform its most questionable experiments, like doing the severance procedure on children whose tempers are much simpler to tame. Speaking of which, this brings us to our next and possibly biggest Season 3 plot theory. As children like Huang don't have as many memories as adults, their innies are also much more stable than the ones on the severed floor. So after undergoing a similar process as Gemma, Huang emerges from the empathy center as not just one perfect worker, but with several innies ready to do Lumen's bidding. After all, children have special access to places and situations where strange adults could be suspicious, so severed children could be used not just as workers, but also as unwitting spies or assassins. And this will be how Season 3 tops Lumen's previously revealed atrocities from the first 2 seasons. On a related note, Season 3 will also finally answer the questions left behind by the Lexington letter. Unknown to the former macro data refiner Peggy, she was indeed refining data to enable a different innie to carry out a terrorist attack. And Peggy died in a car crash, just like Gemma, because she got too close to the truth. Indeed, as the show runs out of room to avoid answering its biggest mysteries, Severance Season 3 will completely unravel the tangled web of conspiracies Lumen hides behind closed doors. The work of MDR, the mystery of Cold Harbor, and Gemma and Mark's true purpose were all revealed after the Season 2 finale. At this point in the show, prolonging the inevitable will just weaken whatever mysteries are left.
And a mystery that you and I must explore.
So after the first 2 seasons imagined every possible scenario from the horrors of Severance, Season 3 will conclude with the final fates of the macrodata refiners, the Eagans, Keertown, and Lumon Industries itself. This could very well mean that Lumen finally goes down in Season 3, or conversely, Lumen could still leverage all these problems into opportunities and proceed with its plans of severing the world. Either way, even though the showrunners have announced plans up to Season 4, the 3rd season is where the organic ending of the story lies. Whether Mark S survives the events of Season 3 or not, he will go down in history as the severed worker who blew the lid off the biggest corporate scandal of this era. But what do you think? Should Severance end in Season 3? Tell us in the comments and keep watching ScreenRant.